Hello everyone, my name is Sanoth and today I want to talk a little bit about my father and Alzheimer's. I already made two videos about him. The first one was mainly an introduction to the type of man he was. One of the first signs that for our family that was to tell that something was happening was his forgetfulness. He had an amazing way of telling stories of his childhood and of his past. He also had an incredible way of telling jokes where even the silliest jokes, when he told them, it was just a huge belly laugh. So as time went on, some of these stories, since we heard them I don't know how many times, he would try to tell the same story, but he couldn't remember some of the details. Then he couldn't remember the names or places. And then he would start to tell a joke, but then he would forget some of the joke, and he himself knew that the joke was not going to be funny. And so as time went on and the stories got more rare and the forgetfulness was more obvious, my mother finally talked my dad into going to the doctor specifically just for finding out what was going on. My dad's doctor was one of his best friends. And so this doctor told him that he might have a little bit of dementia, but not to worry about it, that just keep an eye on it and see what else would happen. And so as time went on, he himself started to notice that things were not the way they used to be. My dad was a very intelligent man. He was not very book smart, but he was very intelligent. And you hear that when people are very intelligent and they start developing Alzheimer's, they themselves see it. And they start doing different things for themselves without telling anybody what's going on. And they start readjusting their lives in a certain way where the people around them cannot tell what's going on. This was my dad's story. This is how things happened for my dad. By the time we really knew something was going on was when he finally started to kind of isolate himself. That's when we really knew something was really wrong. He decided that he was not going to drive. And one of the things that he loved most was also going fishing. And he stopped doing that. He came up with different excuses and different reasonings as to why he was not going to do those things. But as time went on, we knew what it was, because after a while, the doctor finally broke the news to him, and in turn to my mother, and then in turn to his children. He started not to go out in public, and he would come up with different excuses. Towards the end, my dad's life was very simple. Their goings were either to church, bingo, family reunions or family get-togethers, and just fishing. But as time went on, he stopped doing all of those. He did not go out of the house hardly ever, not even for a walk. He eventually decided to not even care about what he wore. because in his mind, he wasn't going anywhere, so he stopped being vain about it. And this was a man who, even going to bingo, he ironed his shirt and put cologne on. And as time went on, he didn't care about that anymore. This disease, again, you heard me say that it's just wicked, and it is. It is really amazing what it does to the brain and what it does to the person, and how their lives start changing. And they start changing for the worse. It doesn't get any better. Right now, there is still no cure for Alzheimer's. They are doing a lot more studies, but there's still no cures. There are also a lot more medications, but all it does is just really delaying the inevitable. For my dad, again, isolation was our red flag. Forgetfulness was something that we just kind of blew off into just saying, he is getting older. He is getting a little bit forgetfulness, but then we all do that. We all forget certain things. And then when it started happening to him, we really didn't really pay much attention to it until he started isolating himself. So one of the things that I suggest to you guys is that start paying attention to what they're doing and how they're doing it. Their routines start changing a lot. My dad's routine started changing a lot. He used to have, even though he was not working, he had plans as to how he wanted his day to go, what repairs he was going to do around the house, how he was going to do them, what he needed to do them. And as time went on, that didn't happen anymore. He started his pride and joy was his house, and he stopped taking care of it. I guess in his mind, he couldn't do it because he couldn't remember how to do certain repairs. And he would just tell us different reasons and excuses as to why he didn't want to do it. That, again, is another red flag. When they're so active in doing certain things that they don't want to do them anymore. Again, forgetfulness, even though it starts very slow, for us, it wasn't that big of a red flag. For us, it was the isolation and not wanting to do things that he loved to do. Those were the two main things. So one of the things that I suggest, again, is for you to just pay attention to how the routines are changing. The excuses that they start telling you as to why things are not going to get done, or why they stop doing certain things. Those are the biggest tells. As time goes on, I'll talk a little bit more about it. Hopefully you find this interesting. Please ask questions or make comments, or let me know how your family or how your loved one dealt with Alzheimer's. And maybe we can learn something from each other, and we can pass information along. Again, there is no cure. So the more we know and how we can talk and how we can help our parents or our loved ones, I think it would be a big help for them. Please subscribe to my channel. I do have other videos. Subscribing, there's no fee. It just lets you know whenever I put a new video out. Again, I hope you find this one informative. Let me know what you think. I hope to hear from you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.